acolytes, of students, of people in long robes, whatever position they might have in this establishment, walking around, talking. And it does seem like Warwick still seems to be about some distance to the right of the gate in this stable-like thing that I, as a German speaker, would almost call an understand, because you stand under it, but understand is a different word.
Pavilion? No, that's an outside thing.
It's basically a permanent wooden pavilion in a sense, yes.
Oh, okay.
With some more
Shelter.
structure to it. A shelter in a sense, yeah. A big roofed garden.
Ah. Oh, okay.
Pavilion? Yeah, I think that's the right word for it. Anyway, I suppose we'll walk up to Warwick and give him sort of a knowing look.
Yeah, the guard at the gate does move to stop you, but seeing that Warwick is already approaching, as he has apparently noticed you, he backs off.
Yeah, back off.
Bitch.
We move you without the badger. The guard at the gate will make one thing rather clear to Graham, without really using words, as he does not want to interrupt the Epicrosarius here, that the Elderling really isn't welcome.
Well, that guard can take that up with my supervisor.
Right? He will not escalate and accept it as, not his problem anymore. The large grey shape of Warwick does slowly, with very, very deliberate steps, makes his way towards you, looking at you with an obvious question on his neutral face. He doesn't greet you, he just looks at you, essentially.
I'm going to say, it's time.
Warwick does not really show any reaction for a slight moment, as he then gestures once with his long neck to follow him, turns around to walk into the enormous entryway of the cathedral. Definitely built for very, very large creatures, or perhaps 5 carriages going in at once, although that probably doesn't happen, as there are stairs. It is most definitely an enormous hallway.
Graham steals
Carriages
himself.
all roll up the staircase.
Well, let's hope this is not like we're put into the broom that then heated up to 10,000 degrees and then we die.
It's like, yes, welcome to the oven.
No,
Welcome to
Mr.
death room.
Graham. I expect you to die. It was a trick all along. You dared to believe the Tanadum. Tanadum! Warwick, I will have you!
Hell, and a vengeance now.
I would never do that. Come on.
Trusty Warwick's trusty room.
Totally. He never tricked us before.
The bones are just decorative.
Oh, wait.
Oh, Warwick does have a 100% success rate.
He does. I really don't.
Fool me once, right? Fool me twice. The third time is the one where he doesn't get us.
Because it would be dead at that point.
It's literally leading us to the dungeons.
Warwick does walk very slowly through the hallway that really dwarfs even him, giving you plenty of time to perhaps look around. The walls and the floor really are greyish marble, but the ceiling does have plenty of colorful depictions of abstract shapes, of, forms of telomeres, of people even, of scenes, perhaps of battle, or just shapes moving into each other. It's kind of hard to tell.
Probably the most color we've seen in this entire damn city.
Perhaps it is very colorful, a stark contrast to the grey exterior of most of the building, really. The walk through the hallway takes a while, but mostly because Warwick is moving exceedingly slow. He could easily be overtaken at like normal walking speed.
Fancy is equal parts like impressed at the scenery and also impatient, like thinking to herself, no wonder Tananim are losing control of the islands to everyone because they move so slow.
He does eventually take a right turn into a ever so slightly smaller hallway, which still has enough space for a small house, and eventually a large staircase down to the left of the hallway, eventually leading, well, downwards.
It really is the best defense against Big Ten and him. Just have a normal like building that doesn't have huge doors.
As he progresses to lead you into the bowels of the compound, the people walking around do get less and less until basically it's just you and him, the occasional guard or servant running around, giving Warwick and you a wide berth. And eventually, Warwick stops at a large door, which does have 2 guards in front of it. He stops some distance away from the guards, still out of hearing range, as he pauses, then really stops, turns around towards you as if wanting to speak, and then stops himself as he turns back towards the door and starts walking again, slowly.
Any last minute advice?
So slowly, so faster than when he was going, or at the same time?
Perhaps slightly faster.
Any last minute advice?
Warwick stops again, turns towards you. What exactly is it you intend to do?
Sort of looks at him and says, get this all settled.
Get this all settled. We plan on killing Granith and who's a part of the extremist cult. There's no settling.
Warwick continues.
You were being
Warwick continues looking at Graham, throwing a glance to Fancy as well.
Graham continues looking at work, sort of as if he didn't hear Fancy.
I do owe Granith much. I did tell myself that I would decide what to do before you asked me to lead you here. I did not come to a conclusion. Know that I lied when I said that I did not get to talk to Granith before he entered his meditation. Know that he did, in fact, ask me to convince you to come down to him.
Thank you. I appreciate you telling us. Anything else you need to come clean with before we meet him?
I do not know how I will react once we're inside and you do what you do.
Perhaps it's better if you do not come inside with us.
I will have to. Perhaps I can extract myself before you start.
Nonsense. I think that would be best.
Warwick nods slightly. Then, moving past the two guards who look at each other with a confused expression, not really trying to stop Warwick, because that would, first of all, look hilarious. But one of the guards does give the other a gesture, which is basically, go talk to someone. As one of the guards will start unlocking the door, as the other makes his way back the way you came. Warwick not really paying either much attention.
Sure. Well, I guess we just follow his lead.
As eventually the door's unlocked, and while the guard does try to open the door, he gets interrupted by Warwick, who does it far more easily, as the doors are large, but as it turns out, not really that large if you're yourself large. And he will enter. I will make a map, rather
Spot.
a spot available for you. And you can arrange yourself in the way you would have come in.
It was probably pretty fair, sort of up behind Warwick. So, yeah. Yeah, that
Let me
works.
make those people visible. As the room you enter is not very large, not much furniture, not really much of anything. It's basically just what you see with some torches attached to the walls to kind of bathing the medium-sized room in a dim light. Candles in the middle. The most obvious thing, other than the people in here, which seem to be mostly humans dressed in long, grey robes, as well as a single Tananim, himself also dressed in a, of course, custom-tailored robe that has spots for his wings. But it does seem like this meditation, mostly humans. At the very end, an old person, very similar robe, although slightly more adorned with some colors here and there. A face like molten wax, and he's probably past his 60th, 70th year at this point.
He's almost to his expiration date.
Perhaps. Definitely the leader of this course or this meditation or whatever you'd like to call it. There are statues in the room, left and right seem to be, well, humans really, whereas in the back, a large grey statue of a Eternal. The significant is perhaps obvious that might be the founder or whoever, but that's probably not what's on your mind currently. And also there's the thing in the very center, which, of all things, probably attracts Gilgalad's attention the most, as it's not really as if the ground is shattering, but rather the ground vibrating, the very air kind of twisting slightly as if breaking. The ground itself physically seems to be completely intact, but it does seem like something is trying to break through, or something is trying to simply punch a hole into not the very ground itself, but far more than that. It is not an accidental thing.
I see.
There's a lot of static coming from somewhere.
I think it's from Tausiver again.
Okay, it seems to be gone. Well, the student sitting here seems somewhat surprised at your entrance. The old person standing behind the altar-like desk is not. So he will kind of stretch his arms ever so slightly in a welcoming gesture, with a slight smile on his face, perhaps, as he says, "Ah, Warwick, even after so many years, your efficacy continues to surprise me. Please do close the doors. As for the rest of you, take a seat, please." Warwick will...
These are pillars, yeah?
These are pillars, yes.
Okay.
The person behind the altar, Greneth, gestures to basically the end of the rug here. All these people are also sitting on tiny miniature towels, rugs, something like that. As Warwick nods once and moves behind you to close the doors.
Sure. Take the opportunity, so go like here. He doesn't really want to sit down, though.
No.
My old legs don't bend so easily anymore. I think I'll stand.
Well, I suppose suit yourselves. It is good that we have managed to come together in controlled circumstances. I do believe there's some hostility on both sides at this point. In truth, it really was all just a big misunderstanding. You were hired by a thief. I sent someone to retrieve that which was stolen. Someone reliable, someone perhaps a bit too zealous. You protected a thief, and in doing so, killed one of my most trusted agents, to say the least. You would have gotten away with it too. My connection to her was not to be made too public, and nobody else would have sought justice. But as it turns out, then you killed the wielder known as Servanus. And the opportunity to expedite the organization of a wielder court, and of course subsequently making it fail, was too good to pass up. That one perhaps was not a misunderstanding, but rather you doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Perhaps we can still get to an understanding, however. These are difficult times, and I do need new, reliable help that is not officially associated with the Order of the Grey Scale, you understand? You see, it is like this. You might very well know that the relation between civilization as we know it and the wilderness is like a keg full of gunpowder. It will burn eventually, inevitably. The question is whether it will simply flare up and burn bright for just a little bit, or explode and sink the ship. As it turns out, I am, in fact, trying to sink the ship. For the simple reason that then everyone can find safety in the water's depths. There are forces at work here that neither party has recognized yet, an unstoppable force. A force perhaps not entirely unlike the army of man that arrived from the north, our ancestors, as it were. Back then, I do believe that, Graham, you might know what exactly stopped the initial invasion. Back then, the Lady of Rainbow Scales had to destroy a great piece of her very own domain to pacify the invaders. Do you realize what she would do if a new force were to arrive, bigger, more powerful, and all-encompassing? She would rather destroy her own domain than see it slip through her claws. After all, she has given her children this land, but she did not create it. No, it's the true owners who are returning. The only option for us to survive is surrender. Simple as that. If we fight, if there is, in fact, another war, we will lose one way or the other. We can surrender and survive. If we welcome the invaders with open arms, we will lose the war, yes, but we will survive. We will not force our very own lady who gave the Tenem this land, who allowed our peaceful ancestors to stay in this paradise. We will not force her to destroy everything. But for the surrender to be an option, the current structure has to be broken into pieces. Resistance needs to not be an option at all. Of course, I am a reasonable person. I would allow this. You could just leave right now. Take the door. Consider my words. Take a ship. Travel away from the lady's domain. Abandon your home, your friends, your loved ones. Maybe convince them too to leave. You would survive and undoubtedly prosper if you make it for the mists, at least. And avoid all this. Perhaps one day the new laws of this place will come for the rest of the plains as well, but not in many, many years at least. The options are thus. You help us all survive, or you Run.
Well, guys, speaking as a player, those are very compelling. I see no reason why there should be any other options other than the two presented. And I was pretty good at this whole like conversation business. I don't even need to say anything. So guys, should we like rally?
we-
Just like go rally like the rest of the world or something? Like,
And leave.
like go create our own
Let's get outta here.
Dimas, how would your homeland welcome an invasion of Tananim and humans and elves?
And
Well-
we could probably figure out like what's ailing you somewhere beyond the mist. We'll be fine.
Probably what
Invade
they
the
would
old
do
world.
is they would say, well, you guys can have that land over there. It's just you need to give us all the halflings so we can enslave them.
Sunset Empire or whatever.
Well, Gilgalad is probably gonna answer on those two choices presented. I would choose a third option, the option to fight, claim our freedom, claim our lives. And if we fail on the process, then so be it.
I do not see any reason for why the Lady of Rainbow Scales should care to save this realm if it is dominated by someone else. She certainly showed no mercy last time.
That is my point exactly. She would not save us, that is not what she is like. She would rather destroy this entire place than let it fall into anyone else's hands.
And that's what you want then.
No, that is exactly what I wish to avoid. If there is no war, then she will not be forced to do it. If we still live here, then she will not destroy everything. If, however, we fight, if we resist the invaders, if we give them any reason at all to want to destroy us, they would.
So the greater evil you are opposing in that sense is the lady. You're afraid of her and what she would do if these invaders are opposed and we lose.
She's an old god and not the only one here any longer. It will not be as easy as last time, I doubt it, but this is madness.
Perhaps it is madness to you. It is the only reasonable way forward for me, however.
Good
We
luck,
could perhaps
Faith,
help you.
both in gods and the people.
If you gave this up, send your people away, let us take you into custody. We might be able to show you a different way. You might not willingly continue listening, but if you immobilized yourself, we could show you a different way.
Oh, it is far too late to save anyone in this room. I have given you the options. Those are in fact my options too. Well, no, I have no options.
I will turn slightly and look back to Warwick as Granith says it's far too late to save anyone in this room.
Do you want to give me a read the Grey Tenor skill check?
Well, it's not as much to read it. It's more to look at him and to basically, well, in a way, convey him to listen to what Granith is saying. That is what Granith thinks. That Warwick is a slave or dead, and that he will go against the Lady of Rainbow Scales. Grim doesn't really necessarily know what War will do. He's not really trying to read him. He's more, well, I suppose in a way, trusting the dragon. He's shown himself to be trustworthy so far. He clearly doesn't want this, and he's kind of proven that he's not condemned.
Well, it is rather obvious that Warwick is listening very intently. Although, whatever he might be thinking currently, it's very hard to tell.
anything to say. I'm no expert on the theology of this place, but it seems to me that the lady didn't strike the 10 in him. Except those perhaps who had joined us.
And those who were unfortunate enough to be in the area for their own reasons.
No, it's like this is seems that you have decided then to throw all this life away.
It seems then that you have decided that you wish to oppose my attempts at saving everyone.
Because I think we will have our own attempts at saving everyone. For the sake of either of us winning, given the possibility that we might defeat you. So why not exchange all the information we can now, so that if we happen to defeat you, we might still have a chance? Remote as it might be.
Oh, you misunderstand me. I would only let you leave this place if I thought that